One of the questions I get asked a lot is, how come your program works when so many of the others out there don't? How come I've tried all these different programs and every time I gain weight again? And how is it that yours works so quickly and effectively and safely? Well, it's very simple. It's all about this thing, calibration. If you look at most food out there, it's got tons of carbs, tons of additives, tons of salt, tons of fats, all of these different things that cause your metabolism to go wrong. And what's missing in most of what's out there, especially processed foods, is good quantities of protein. But if you think back only, a few hundred years, if you were sitting in the same spot you're sitting now, what would people have been eating? And if you think about it, it's lean meat, fish, eggs that were gathered, you ate what was around you. There were vegetables, yes, root vegetables in particular. Grains were, a later addition, and especially refined grains. Things weren't refined until relatively recently in the scale of things. If you were going to get fruit, it was only going to be in season, and you were going to eat that fruit fresh, and you were going to eat it in its whole form. You weren't going to see juices and things like that until much later on. And it's only when you take things out of things, when you take the sugars out of the fruits, that the effect of those sugars becomes so devastating to the body. If you eat the whole fruit, it's fine. So if you think about it, that's what people were consuming, and that's what the human body is calibrated to handle. It's not calibrated to handle the enormous amounts of carbs that are in almost everything. So what we do is very simple. We've designed these different foods which are intended to replicate very closely the proportion of proteins, carbohydrates and fats that existed many years ago when the food that people were eating was fresh and designed for the body. It was something that was going to work together along with the body. And that's what we've done. So every serving has about 15 grams of protein, between 80 and 150 calories on the outside, most or less than that. Very conservative fat levels and very conservative carbohydrate levels, with the carbohydrates that are in there predominantly complex, so they don't spike your insulin, because one of the things that causes people the greatest problems is when their insulin spikes. So you're going to eat one of these servings every couple of hours, and you're going to find that they will be very satisfying. You're not going to feel hungry. You're going to feel happy, and you're going to look forward to the next thing you're going to have when you're going to have it. So there's no sense of denial. There's no sense of, oh, I can't have this, I can't have that. It's like, wow, what great thing am I going to have next? It worked for me, so I know it's going to work for you. And it works because it's properly calibrated. Remember, if it's not carefully calibrated, it's not your silhouette solution.